Okay, so VOD review against NFG Insidious. That's their name. So we're gonna be looking at Ilios first, which is the map that we won 2-1, and the map we did lose, which is Ilios well, was 99-99. So on Lighthouse we roll out on a comp we've never played before. So this is okay. Allow me to explain the mindset behind this comp. So this comp is primarily made to destroy goats, right? You have go away. You have a lot of environmental and displacement as well. So this is displacement, and then overall it's enviro. Okay, now this is made to split apart the goats comp. The Zarya is meant to give the Hammond support on the engage, and the Hanzo is made to be able to dish out damage from afar, picking off those isolated targets. Now, this Moira, after looking at different perspectives and thinking about it over again, I realized that this should have probably been replaced with a Mercy. Just because, so what I had originally thought was like, you know, if say we capped point, right? So we hold here, so you'd have Moira and Zarya here. And what would happen is that basically, you know, the Hammond and the Doomfist would go in, and then they would return where they could get healed by the Moira, which I've now realized that you can just have Mercy for that mobility. She can reach the Hanzo if like Hanzo's positioned here and the team is positioned on point. So yeah, other than that, I think the comp works out fairly well. So they roll out on Sombra Goats, which in theory Sombra is good against this comp here because, right, we're running the Doomfist Hammond. But I feel like the way they played Sombra didn't actually work out that well, and in addition to that, there's like too many targets on the engage for Sombra to hack. Like, this comp is meant to anticipate the fact that goats will have a response like shield bash or now even hack. Okay.
Capture the objective.
Also, another issue with this Sombra Ghost that they're running is that because of their lack of the Diva and they're running Zen, opens up that Zen for even more pressure from us because they lack that Diva peel. Okay, so something okay, so this positioning I think from us is a little bit too ambitious. I think maybe if like supports are back here a little bit, and maybe the Zarya is even over there as well. I don't know, because in case, like, say they see, oh, like, you know, they don't have a Reinhardt, their front line's weak, and then they go rush Zarya, right, and Zarya's dead. So, like, okay, maybe we'll use Amp to disengage, but still, like, that's not something you want to happen right off the bat.
I might need this later.
Okay, so Sombra puts Translocator onto the Lighthouse, which we should have scouted, but I don't think we did. Just poking. Waiting for an opportunity. Sombra decloaks, but Aiden actually reacts fast enough for the hack not to go off. Oops. The hack not to go off, which is huge. So, nice job. Trans is out. Again, we should have realized that she's up there, but we take way too long. And, like, this whole, like, poking is fine, because this is the same concept with dive that we make the mistake of too much, is that when we play dive, or when we play a comp with great mobility that can force engages, we kind of, like, are too aggressive, and we always assume that, like, oh, we just have to dive, and that's always the best choice. But in this scenario, you know, just waiting for, you know, someone to fuck up or them to make a positional error, that's what you have to wait on. Now, usually when a Sombra trances out and you're running Sombra Goats, that's your key to engage, because now it's a 5v6. But in this case, that doesn't really apply because Sombra is so close. But so It's weird. We should have engaged because Sombra tranced out if we didn't know Sombra was here, which we didn't. But Sombra was here, so actually not engaging is the correct choice, but accidentally. And they're using bubbles like really early to get energy, I'd assume, which is really risky. Like what if Zen gets Dove? It's like, okay, maybe he gets armor pack from the brig, but like I don't know, bubbles are a really strong tool, I feel. Okay, Aiden gets hacked, which is fine, because like all that accomplishes is just that Aiden's our engage is going to be slightly weaker or slightly delayed, but they can't collapse on like a hack Doomfist from that far. Okay, great boop by Hammond, and this is kind of how this comp's supposed to play. Like, just go in, like, boop him off, and then run away. So that ends the fight right there, but then Isabel gets a boop off their Lucio. And they're also moving really slowly. Like, they're kind of just... They're posturing, too, for a reason I don't understand. We're posturing to wait for a good time to engage, but they have a really strong front line. They have to pressure us, deny us that space. Okay, Translocator gets spotted. And now they swap to a McCree, which I understand why, because they're like, oh, you know, McCree counters Doomfist and McCree counters Hammond, so when they engage, you can stun. But this is the same mistake we make later on Route 66. McCree is like one of the most diveable characters in the game. Like, yes, if I solo dive him as Genji or something, I'm gonna die. But if a team dives McCree, there's very little he can do. And that's if you dive in with this Doomfist Hammond with Hanzo spam and Zarya bubbles, like it's McCree's done for.
I'm out of here.
Okay, again, Summer made this translocate, which Isabel knows. Does she? Yeah, she does. Nice. Okay, so they try to collapse on Doomfist here. But again, like... So, the mistake they're making is Doomfist goes in, and they're like, okay, engage on Doomfist. Now, Doomfist gets out, and they're like, oh shit, he's gone. But then after that, it's like, okay, he's gone, but who cares? Just, like, you know, keep going. Like... But they did use a good amount of resources on that Doomfist to try to snag him, and they fail. Okay, they hack our Zarya here, who does have both bubbles, but again, they're not collapsing fast enough. Like, if does Lucio have speed? No, he just amped to get the Doomfist. Okay, so, like, you are in engage range right here. So, optimally, you'd want to back up in case they had their speed or whatever cooldowns to come engage on you, which they don't. But might as well be prepared for that. Okay, so you back up to point, which works as well. Okay, so booping the Ryan back, delaying their engage. Okay, Dragons comes from behind. And let's look at positioning. Okay, so I think the one issue with our positioning is it's a little too clustered. Like, maybe if the Doomfist was up here, because I think this is a fairly valuable high ground for us to control, and even Hammond can sit up here too. Because, like, it's the same thing when you're running dive. It's like you want this place to set up for your dive rather than having to set up from the low ground, since we have the opportunity to do that because we're defending. Okay, the Rhine gets split by the Dragons, and Frank gets a boop. Hack goes on Zarya again. Okay. Oh yeah, so they all back up, but the Ryan goes... Oh, does he get booped by the Hammond in? Is that what happens? No, he just walks in. Okay. Big mistake by them. So Dragon splits them, and then we manage to find a brig because of that, and then we should be able to get Ryan here. Oh, okay. Flanking Hanzo, which they also don't take care of, but again, they can't because they don't have a Diva. Or a Zarya now. Okay, this Coalescence is fine. I like to use Coalescence either to change, like, the tempo of the fight, which can trigger you to being aggressive, or, like, during cleanup when the enemy's retreating, or when you're trying to retreat. I think that those are fine times to use coalescence. So Aiden, I believe here Aiden suspects they're coming high, but they're going main. Or someone suspects they're coming high, maybe that's later. Again, it doesn't matter because we scattered because of the Sonic. Okay. So here... Ah, we're collapsing on this Brig who's going to... Huh. What is going on? Okay. So they've hacked the Hammond. So I suppose that the Hammond's the target here. But Sombra's already translocated out. And now Lucio and Brig are going alone. So Brig should become the target. Oh, okay. She shield mashes to dodge that, but Aiden gets the boot on the Ana anyways. Great minds. They get hacked. But by that time we already found 3-4. And also in the future time, I'd probably replace the Zarya as well with a Winston. Like, yes, Zarya offers that, like, very, like, minimal, like, contest and, like, pressure. So, okay, there's two things you can replace with the Zarya. The first one is you can replace him with a Winston. So, in that case, the Winston joins the Doomfist Hammond. Or you replace Zarya with a Orisa. And basically, the purpose of that would be... instead of having to like kind of, you know, if they're on point, right, and they're attacking point, and instead of us having to like boop them in and out and stuff, like having Orisa just sit here with a shield and like just sitting in the corner to contest point, like they'll have to expend a lot of resources trying to kill the Orisa, and while they're focusing her down, we can get them. So we can experiment with both of those. Splitting dragons again actually forces out beat this time, but we managed to find McCree because... Wait. Oh, no, that's our beat. Okay. So, dragons... Hold on. I think that dragon's actually aimed a little too far to the right. Yeah, look. If it was slightly more to the left, it would have been perfect. But not. Okay, so we go for a beat here, which I assume is an aggressive beat. But I can find out.
You like stick with them.
Except the audio here is kind of ear-rapey from me. Okay. No.
Summer.
Why am I watching? Oh, I didn't. Did I not record Lighthouse?
No.
I didn't. That's so unfortunate. Okay. They get a Shatter. Is Beat in response to Shatter, or does Shatter come out after Beat? Oh, okay. No, Beat comes out because of Shatter. Okay, so that's great. And Beat hits all 6. Wow. This is PagChomp. PagChomp Lucio. 6-man beat, and we're also split. Alright, we managed to find a McCree because their front line's being too aggressive on the people who've been downed instead of peeling. Okay, now things are getting a little hectic. Okay. So they're collapsing on point, and this is the danger of this comp because we don't have enough sustain to actually like sit on the point and do anything. Like, Moira Lucio can only run around for so long before their cooldowns go down. I think you could have been a little more aggressive with the Meteor Strike. Like, I know that, like, yes, there's a lot of them, and they're beaten and scary. But, like, I don't know. I think because there's so many of us alive, you definitely have an opportunity to play aggressive. Okay, here as Hanzo, instead of going into the objective, I think if I were to play here, so I can just spam in from a little farther away. I think I'm getting too close here. But I think that's a collapse on this Ana, who happens to be behind us. Way out of position. And though, like, in general, like, if they stay together in this fight, they should win on paper. And if we manage to make the fight, like, scrappy and split, and get, like, 9 environmental kills, then we will win. And also here's where we get lucky by having this Moira. Like, Mercy would struggle more in this kind of fight because she can't like sit on the point like Moira can. But in general, I think Mercy would have gotten us more value, which is not Lindsay's fault. This is my fault for calling Moira. Oh, that rocket punch. Okay, could have been real bad. So, double sniper Ryan, Zarya, Moira, Lucio. Again, pretty decent comp. But again, maybe we should have traded Moira for Mercy. Just because, like, you want that support for your snipers if they want to play far away, which you don't have. But here I opted to have the Moira to like actually have a front line. Now, so the issue is, like, I realized at the very beginning I was like, we got to play passive. Like when we scout out that they're running McCree goats, which, you know, either way, like, it's still a stronger front line. If you have the McCree or if you have a Zarya, it doesn't really matter. So, and I think that the tanks were playing overly aggressive, but they didn't get punished just because of the enemy's team's indecisiveness. So, in future times, the tanks need to play, like, really passive. Like, the tanks are there so that when the snipers open up an opportunity, you can speed in with that Lucio. And then I would trade the Moira for a Mercy, which forces you to play even more passive.
Round 2. Capture the objective.
Oh, they switch onto Somber Goods. Okay, same thing applies though. They have more. They arguably have, like, about the same or more healing at a stronger front line. And they don't really have any backline targets, which is why I didn't, like, this is why Winston Diva wouldn't work as well here. Like, Frank here pushing up, like, this, I don't believe gets punished. Or no, it does get punished. They collapse on you. But you don't end up... well, I'll watch. Like, even if the hack had not come out, they should have collapsed on you. You're like a lone Reinhardt. And, like, yes, you have a Zarya. And, you know, a Moira for support. But that wouldn't cut it. And there you choose to rotate. Okay, yeah. So there you choose to rotate here. Which I understand is for cover. And I get that a lot of bad things could have happened if you just rotate straight. Because the Ana would have had better sightlines. But I think it's viable if that Lucio had amped you out, because that's kind of the point of having this Lucio here, for those quick disengages. But he ends up coming around anyways, so I guess it does work out pretty well.
The objective is now active.
It's weird. Their tanks are playing like how our tanks should play. And we find Lucio, because again, they're posturing way too much. Okay, now their front line pushes up, but Isabel gets a great boop and forces them back. And we're able to find the Rhine. I like how, like, it takes us like a terribly long time to build this area, but that's fine. Okay, so they take the rotation through our left side, which I believe here we get a Dragon Strike. Which is, again, I don't know why they're funneling in so tight. I mean, I guess it's to avoid the sniper sight lines, but if they, like, rush down mid, it could work out quite well. Yeah, so then we're able to get a splitting Dragons here. And how does Somber die? Oh, she gets infrasight scouted. Unlucky. Brig gets split off from the team and gets picked off, so they're down 2. Like, here's the time, like, this is where we can take advantage of the Rein Zarya about being aggressive. You get pinned, which is unlucky, but, like, I don't believe you get punished for it, and they use a nano for whatever reason. Maybe to try to, like, win the fight back, but, like, I don't know. Actually, though, I think what their team struggles with is what our team struggles with the most as well. Like, this was especially a problem before. I don't know if it's still as much of a problem. But when we are running a comp that's heavier and shorter ranged, we spend too much time, like, doing nothing. So I guess this is what not to do. Okay, Sombra comes around the right side. Okay, but Moira's resources have been exhausted. I wonder if that's actually because of... Hold on. Let's go back. I see. Okay, so we ended up using a lot of resources on that fight. Okay, that's fine. But like as soon as this fight enters like this whole like poke phase, like you don't have to like you don't have to hold down left click at all. Just because like you're already so low, just go for the taps. Okay, we know they're coming left. And we're coming up on a Shatter Beat Coalescence, and they have a Shatter Grav EMP. So, okay, Sombra's going for EMP. Isabel's playing around Statue, which is smart. And manages to dodge the EMP. Comes in with a beat. Beat hits all 6 because Isabel's a god. And Widow positioning here is pretty good. They don't have a Diva to contest you. But our front line does get shattered. Which, oh, we couldn't invest Coalescence because we were EMP'd. Okay, I would say they overinvested. Okay, I remember this. This is unlucky. I said no ultimates, but the call was slightly late, and the Coalescence ended up coming out. Only because, like, I get why you wanted a Coalescence to, like, save the people in the graph, but Goats just outputs too much damage close range. Actually, would have been even better there is maybe we shouldn't have invested the beat at all. Like, I like the fact that you hit and, you know, you beat it, but knowing what ultimates they have, I don't think one beat is enough to sustain through all that, so we could have just had a dry hold. Maybe what we could have done is you amp and go, like, super aggressive on them. Just a thought. Okay. They're split again. Shatter finds 2. So here, in the moment, right, as soon as I pressed Q, I was like, oh shit. Because then, I remember right before this, I was like, oh, we have Grav Dragons. And then I yeeted the dragon into this Earth Shatter. So, I mean, I think that this was a bad idea. Only because I can't actually see the Shatter. I just know that the Shatter hit someone. So it's like, I'll just Dragon Strike into it. So I think this was overly risky for me, and I should have held it for the Grav. Ends up finding Ana and Sombra, and we get a Lucio off that Shatter. They try to rally to stabilize, but it should be too late by then. I like the fact that this whole time we've still held Grav. That's really good restraint. Target priority's kind of all over the place though, which was my fault. Okay, and nano. If you solo grab that Ryan, it's okay. But we end up being able to shred him. Oh, yeah, and he misses the Shatter. Like, that could have been real bad. Like, I think there we could have just solo grabbed that nano boosted Reinhardt. And, like, you might have been able to find a Sombra or Nana with that. Because that's a threat that we can't really deal with. You know, snipers aren't the best at taking out Reinhardts. And our front line definitely can't deal with that. Because, like, that Shatter would have been enough to shut down that push. Okay, let's go to the map that we lost.
Score. Ready for battle.
Okay, we're running near mirror comps. Now the issue with the Lucio here is that, so the goal of the Lucio is to peel for an opposing Lucio, which is normally what we do. But when they don't have Lucios, to be aggressive. And unfortunately, their comp doesn't really allow an Lucio to be aggressive with their McCree, and even their Pharah can really shut that down. So I would say we get fairly unlucky with this pick. I would, like, normally I'd roll out on this Lucio again. Both Pharahs are taking the high left. And our Hog gets hooked in. Okay, yeah, we need to pull quicker. Especially if we're running mirror, right? It's like we have the same win conditions. So let's output those win conditions faster. and you used to fortify earlier, so you get CC'd off, but we managed to find a Pharah. And yeah, like our Lucio's flanking here, which is fine. But like she can't like play as aggro as she wants to just because of all their sons. Okay, I get killed by the McCree. Oh, I was disengaging. That was a really long shot, but he got me. I shouldn't have jump jetted. Okay, so here I think we swap onto the full mirror, but we're immediately at the disadvantage because of their ult advantage on the Batiste. Or their general ult advantage, but especially the Batiste. And they use that amplification matrix way too early, so we can equalize our disadvantage. So we play safe, which is fine. Pharah gets low, has to back off. Oh, their hog gets hooked in. And their Pharah is playing really aggressive. Okay, so that was a good pull hook. And they wasted lamp on that too. Okay, that lamp came out. Why? Oh, you got... Okay. So you took it direct from a Pharah from the pull hook that was damage boosted. So you take 156 damage, and then Orpheus gets hooked. I would say that's a bit of a panic lamp, only because, like, yes, you're low, but do you have your regen burst? No, you don't. Okay, and that's fair. Okay. I managed to find their Orisa because they used that lamp so early. And where is... And their McCree wasn't there to counter. And we pull hook the Batiste. Or I think we just hooked the Batiste, actually. Okay, now they're retreating. Okay, both Pharahs are... Where's their Mercy? Their Mercy is coming to their Pharah. Okay. Both Pharah Mercies are trying to take control of this left side. Oh, and Aiden manages to find that Mercy. Very nice. Oh, from the Supercharger as well. I go for a barrage here, but I... No. Okay, both Hogs are ulting each other back, but their Pharah gets split off. Here we go for a barrage, which finds McCree. Though I realized I should have targeted Batiste first and then McCree. So, one of the mistakes that I made this entire match with barrages was I kept trying to kill McCree first. In my mind thinking, oh, McCree's like the greatest threat, so if I eliminate him, then I'll be able to survive the rest of the barrage. But after that, I realized I should have killed Batiste first. Mainly because Batiste was the one actually looking at me. They invest the Bongo to try to stabilize. But they're all so tightly packed here. And we have a position so that we can just stop right there in this corner. So I really like this whole Orisa spot here. Because, like, okay, we can fight them like this. And then if they invest ults here, then we just rotate back. Nice. The shield is a little too far forward, though. We pop a Deadeye to zone. Which I think, if you want to do a zoning Deadeye, that should have came out when the Supercharger was coming out. Because that's when they would push, not when the Supercharger is on the verge of getting destroyed. But they don't end up pushing because of the Supercharger anyways. Now they pop their Deadeye, which finds our Mercy. Which is really bad. Okay, their Pharah goes for a barrage, which takes out our second healer, but she loses her life. Which is a pretty good trade, only because of like how difficult it is in like these sorts of comps to actually get value from barrage. And from here, it's just stall. I was really salty about this map. Not at the team or anything, but at myself. I was like, I could have played so much better. Big shield. Get boop on the concussion. Our concussion blast misses, and now they place their amplification matrix. So here we should play corners, which we do sort of. Yeah, but like we don't need to invest shield there. And they invested 2 ults to zone, even though one of like both ults are kind of doing the same thing. Okay, so here their fire is looking for barrage, and I call that watch out fire is looking for barrage too, I think. And how does our Batiste die so fast? Oh, the shield gets placed really far forward. And then it gets destroyed. Yeah, shield was too far forward. Because it's like this, like if the shield's in line right here, it's pretty powerful because Batiste can even play here, and the shield can give the Batiste decent coverage, and like you can place a lamp here as well. So yeah, like this zone is kind of where you want to be, and as soon as you play up there, it's pretty dangerous. Okay. So Supercharger does kind of like nullify the advantage they have temporarily, which is good. Nutty. Okay, but we lose 2 on the ground because they have better shield break. Actually, how do we lose 2 so fast? Okay, so their fire was focusing our shield. That's unfortunate. But we got our McCree back. Hero's looking for barrage, and I knew they knew I was looking for barrage too. And our Mercy ends up getting picked. Yeah, I think our positioning was a little too aggressive there. Okay, so here their fire is looking for a barrage. There's only 3 of us left. And Batiste dies early in the fight, just because their fire is in a better position. Because me, I'm like here looking for barrage, while their fire is spamming in. Oh, that... Oh no. Aiden, that was so close. Because our Batiste died so early, we don't get the lamp. So when I go for my barrage, it takes longer to kill them because they place the lamp. I ended up shutting through the lamp, but I only get 2 with the barrage. And this is where God, I was so angry at myself. I don't know why. And I was so salty about that. Okay, we make the swap onto desperation mode.
Helden sterben nicht.
Alright, and we Valkyrie at the very beginning. Which I think I actually called for that Valkyrie, but now that I realize it, that Valkyrie came out too early.
Helden sterben nicht.
We force a lamp out fairly early. Okay, I think Orpheus flew in to try to eat the Deadeye, but the Deadeye wasn't even in like threat range, which kind of puts him out of position. And Deadeye ends up finding our Mercy. Yeah, and with the lack of like a Riddle shield, we can't really do anything. I think he just shooted us.
Cease your resistance.
Alright, what's the recording time right now? 34 minutes, that's pretty fast. Considering, all things considered, that's pretty fast. Okay. Next map. I want to talk about Gibraltar attack, which is the longer one. And why I didn't really like what we did on Gibraltar.
Ready for battle. Attackers incoming.
Okay,
Stop the payload.
so rolling out a Gibraltar attack. I knew this Winston was here, and I called Winston was there too. But let's look at the comms actually at the very beginning. Which means we win every single game. No, stat off the flag.
Isabel going?
Stop the payload. It's okay. Escort the payload. God, the mic audio is so loud in OBS. Thank God it's not that loud. I mean, it's still pretty loud normally. God, that's so gross.
Left.
Transcendence. They're running.
Yeah, see, look. I saw the Winston out the
Floats, I
window.
think they're probably running floats. They have a Winston. Okay.
We win. We win.
They have a
Okay.
Winston. Okay.
Isabel, play Peel for now. If
Okay.
you need, you can boot people off the high ground. But for now, expect the president. Winston's hiding bottom left.
So, okay, that call, like, we didn't respond fast enough to this
He's hiding
Winston.
bottom left.
Okay.
Low, he's half.
I got lucky in, like, chunking him down half, so. Which delays his engage to split. And actually, this is a trick that we can actually take advantage of. Instead of all playing in this corridor, have the Winston play there. I think it could work out pretty decent. And by the time the Winston jumps in, like... Okay, I think actually here I do call that it's a bait. Let me confirm. God, that's so loud.
This time you're the
Sorry, in our personal pretty low.
They're running floats. It's floats. We can't. Okay.
Monkey.
Monkey,
Sorry.
no leave.
Watch out. They might come rushing through.
Yeah, see, watch out. They might come rushing through.
A waterfall.
Like a waterfall. But yeah, so that's exactly what they do. So here we hard commit a little too hard on this Winston, but I don't think we get punished too bad for it. Okay, here on the positioning is too far back. If you play here and then have Lucio play there too. Lucio doesn't need to be on cart right now. Because I think he's playing so far back because he's worried that he's going to get dove and he doesn't have his Lucio for peel. So now we really don't have main heals. And then they dive and we're split. Like Arna split off. Oh, nice nade. Their Winston's overextending. But we lose our Winston because, again, we commit too hard on it.
Now show them.
I want to check something real quick.
Run.
Backing out. Thank you.
Me up.
Oh, we have Anna. We have way more heals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm throwing two. They're about to dive. They're about to dive.
Let's just push top.
If they
Yeah, see,
dive-
look, Ox worried that he's gonna get dove. That's why he plays. That's why he's playing so far back.
I'm getting way far back.
See, exactly what I was saying. That's why we need the Lucio there, so we can play the Ana farther forward.
Yeah, I'm so far back. They're not wanting
Ooh,
to.
you're
Yeah.
way behind. I'm DMing.
Yeah. So yes, Ox, you're farther enough back that he's not like Ox is so far back that he's not a viable dive target, but he's so far back that can't do anything.
Look up. Thanks.
You didn't see that. Jump up. Frank, get up here. Frank, get up here. Stop pushing it.
Yeah.
Okay, Orpheus calls a retreat, which is good, but we get demeched.
Yeah, I can't see. Yeah, jump. I'm going
Isabel,
up.
you reckon they have any support ults yet?
No.
Monkey's bottom left stairs on me. I need help.
Okay, and then here, like we commit too hard on that Winston.
No.
Yeah. Okay, but at least we didn't call the hard commit. Okay, now one more thing I want to check about comms.
I thought he was
I'm
playing.
gonna
Back.
start. Never.
Lucio sleeping.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So what okay, I was worried that when we slept Lucio, we would have called that sleep too much. Like if you were like screaming, Lucio's sleeping, which wouldn't be good because of like we're not in a position to engage on Lucio, but you don't. So nice.
Into the iris.
Unfortunate. Actually, when did they get Transcendence? Oh, they've had it for a while. Oh wait, no, hold on. 80% when I ask. Actually, I think that engagement on the Winston gives them the Transcendence. We might have been able to get that Nanoblade off if we hadn't engaged on that Winston. But there, I think I could have prepared better for that Transcendence to be there.
Into the iris.
Because I used my dash going in too hard. Okay, so they end up trancing it, but then... Pack Chomp.
Wait.
Goodbye. Finds 30 supports. And this is what I don't like about how we attack Gibraltar. Like, we make so many mistakes, but then we win off of ultimates. Like, not even like ult economy. Like, lucky ultimates. again, there's gonna be a future time where we can't hope for like them all being in the same place to get that triple bomb. Like it does work and like that's great, but I'm worried that it won't work in the future. That's all.
The payload has reached the chip.
Okay, so we stuff them in there, and we managed to find all 4. Okay, they're going low right. So here we take ship. Unfortunately, I can't have our D.Va take ship because he has no mech. That's a huge nade. D.Va solo dives in on the Genji, which is a pretty big mistake. We force the D.Va to back off. Unfortunately, we can't capitalize on the grenade only because, again, our D.Va's still out of mech. Okay, so ultimates, they have 4. We have nearly 5. Make that 6. I think here we're posturing so I can charge a blade. Die.
Alright, let's go.
Listen.
Whoa, whoa,
Bottom
whoa,
right, bottom right.
Bottom right.
I
Frank,
saw.
get on ship. Frank, get on ship.
Why?
To dive.
Frank,
Okay. Come on, Frank. Get it. Frank.
I'm out of
Frank.
mech. I'm out of mech.
I'm on the cart.
probably shouldn't be
I'm in
screaming
mech.
that
I'm in
loud.
mech.
Watch out for Grav. Grav is
Yep.
on
I
its
don't
way.
have DMs. Probably gonna pop it. No.
No. There's not enough of us down here.
Frank, I'm gonna go after Lucio. 3, 2, wait, Lucio.
Where is he? Where is he? Cole, where is
There I
he?
should have called hold for blade.
Right side blue.
Because we can nano blade into a sound barrier. I almost died there. I was being way too aggressive. Okay. This is again an example. Okay, so here 2 people died to this bomb. I think it's Moira and Lucio. Yeah. Lucio was hiding behind cart, which I guess it's too thin underneath, and Moira was just not in position to be saved by that. Like, even if we found Moira, though, that's, like, pretty good. Okay, so we nano boost the Winston here. And we had used Pulse Bomb earlier. Where did that go? Unlucky. So we had used 3. The nano on the Winston I think comes out a little too early. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, he was fine. We didn't need to nano that Winston. And we eat Grav anyways. But even if Grav went off, we had sound barrier for it. So yeah, I don't think we needed to, like, if you wanted to nano boost Winston, it should have came out when Winston was actually in danger of dying, I think. I don't think we needed that as an aggressive nano boost because we already have the advantage being that we just got 2 picks. Okay, here we fat finger primal, but that's fine. Mistakes happen. I think there with Primal, you don't even have to try to jump in. Like, just acknowledge that, oh shit, I fat fingered, and then just like sit around and don't do much. Because, like, in case you feed too much. Our nade, was that our nade? Yeah, that was our nade. It's nothing, which is fine. Our positioning, like, once we know that they're trying to take back cart, as soon as they try to jump on cart to take it back, we should just jump away. Like, we don't want to really be the defender of a point by standing on that point. Like, just hiding up in the high, like, oops, like, hiding up on the high ground here. Like, jump to this place, or even here, or here, like, anywhere. Because their D.Va's the only one who can test us. And as long as, like, people are grouped enough, like, it's very hard for D.Va to displace us off the high ground. Just by how many people we can put there. And now our healer's fairly safe, because he's not going to get doped by solo doped by a D.Va. And if he does, we have a Lucio for that. Okay, that was a really aggressive jump on that Lucio. Which, we kind of get the whole goal of that, which is to force out the sound barrier. But I think, like, again, it would have been better if we jump first to the high ground, hide, like, over here, soft engage the Lucio, get the beat out, and then jump out. Instead of hard engage the Lucio, bait out the support ults that we wanted to, and then lose the fight anyways, you know what I mean? It's like, our plan shouldn't be, let's go lose the fight. I mean, it's not like, okay, sure, you can talk about doing dry pushes, but the goal here is not, like, we're not super down on ultimates, and we're trying to even out the ult economy. Like, this fight was totally winnable if we had started on the high ground, or more winnable if we started on the high ground to soft engage down. I don't know why you nano boosted there. And we shouldn't have beat it there either. Though I think that's my fault in regards to the beat and not calling that the fight was lost fast enough. Because now, like, yes, they have their, like, we got out the reap, but now we don't have nano blade. We only have regular blade, which is pretty hard to pull off against goats, especially when we're goats. And in general, I think we could have swapped comps to an Ana goats here, actually, or even an Ana floats, but preferably Ana goats. Just because, like, Moira goats kind of shuts down everything we're doing here pretty hard. Yeah, they go aggressive with the rally. Blade goes in, but in a rally, it's... No promises. I should have went for Moira there. Okay, they get a grav off. Like, here, we would have wanted that sound barrier. And you're actually already at 80%, which is kind of ridiculous. But, you know, 80 is not 100. Okay, here we can be aggressive. We could have used... I think here you could have used Primal. Like, yes, we've gotten one, but, like, you know... Yeah, okay, you did use Primal, but I think that came out a little too late. Okay, here, the goal was to try to split the Rhine off, but like, the Coalescence ends up pocking that Rhine too hard. Oh, but we do kill him. Okay. So they're down their main tank. Let's see how we play this out, because I remember we lose this fight. Oh, is it off that bomb? Bomb finds one in a mech. That's pretty bad. And then we lose our D.Va. Yeah, so bomb finds two. But in general, that positioning was, like, I think a little too, like, Ryan Zarya-y. Like, we're kind of trying to, like, brawl this front line with our dive, while we should not be doing that. Sleep goes into the Rhine, but Winston happens to be jumping down, which is unlucky, but Nate finds two. Like, this is the kind of positioning we want. Actually, but, okay, the only mistake here is how Orpheus dove in with his Winston jump. Like, again, like, just jumping up to here first. Like, the rest of the positioning, you see how, like, we're kind of, like, floating around this high ground above them, rather than, like, just jumping in. Like, that's what we need to get better at. So here we have a nano blade. They have the sound barrier, but I believe we'll get out that beat. And I think you're using the we're using the bubble too much like a shield. I mean, like, no shit, it's a shield, but, like, too much like an Orisa or a Reinhardt. Like, we want that for the engage, not for the retreat. Okay, they invest beat for whatever reason. Let's see. Okay, so I think this is not the Lucio's fault anymore. I think this is just how we view this composition, and so it's mainly me. I think in the future, when we run dive into goats, beat should only be used aggressively, or when there's, like, moderate amounts of threat where someone can die. Because if we get graved, like, we have nothing against that grav, and against all that damage. Like, we can't fight off a Reinhardt. So, like, beating into the grav is really not going to help anyone, as we've, you know, as what just happened shows. Okay, so I try to salvage it with the nano blade, and I find Lucio, but I got solo shattered. Unfortunate. But they did waste that coalescence at least. Okay, so we swap onto a Ryan Zarya Pharmacy. And now we have like no front line sustained. Which is again, this is what happened on Ilios Ruins. Okay. Now the issue with this comp is, and I think this is my bad for calling this comp, we should have just swapped onto goats. Because this comp can't can't frontline contest goats, right? You have to wait for your Pharah and McCree to get that damage in. So, but here we're running out of time, so we have to contest point, which is kind of like why this composition doesn't work at all in this situation. Like if we had more time to slowly push up, you know, slowly get poke damage, maybe find a pick or two, but we don't have time to do that. And here, knowing this, we shouldn't have called any bubbles aggressively. All bubbles should have been passive.
Nerf this.
Bomb is used to counter the pharmacy, but finds no one. But I think it splits us so much that we get we lose our McCree and then we lose our Zarya. So yeah, I think in general that was the fault of the comp. We should have swapped onto an Ana Goats. Because there were no ults that like we were going to save anyways if we were swapping. So yeah, Ana Goats would have been better. Maybe could have completed the whole map actually if we ran Ana Goats.
It's Hanamura.
All right.
Огонь по готовности.
Leave. Okay. Let me look if there's any other specific maps that I want to look at. Let me review this score on Nepal. Actually, no. I know what I want to look at. I remember. Hanamura. Just two very specific instances of how bunker loses. So they defend first. And we do end up breaking this bunker. And let's look at how... What the fuck is going on? That is a weird glitch. Is this a glitch? Wait. Are they all standing in spawn? Oh no, they are all standing in spawn. Just kidding. I thought that was a glitch. Okay. So here, okay. When they were on attack, they opted to trade what we had as an Ana for a Zen, which I think is a decent idea, only because Zen can contribute to the shield break, but we did kind of win this fight off of that offensive Ana grenade. But in the future time, when the Ana nade stops working, that's when we can switch to a Zen. Is that nade actually coming right now? No, it's not. Okay. Okay, having touching point here, I really don't like. Only because, like, I don't know, like, you're not going to get any value. It's like, okay, maybe they rotate back, but we're not going to... Oops. Maybe we rotate back, but that's not going to actually... Maybe they rotate back, but we're not engaging right now. So this doesn't really matter. Like, we need to coordinate so that when you actually touch point is when we're engaging. So then the Ariza pulls you out, and I think you die here. Yeah, you get hooked. And like, so now we're engaging. The nade comes in and we find Batiste because of it. Great nade. But like, look, our Haven's dead. Which we probably could have, we could have won much faster if Haven was alive. So Frank goes for a dive, which I think comes out a little too early. Like, we don't have to play super aggro because like we've killed their Batiste. Like, that's a huge kill. Now we can just slowly drain them of resources. Also, their Bastion's poking beyond the shield. Res gets cancelled because of Concussion Blast, and it's all downhill from there. But I want to look at something. Nade. Oh, that's... Okay, I see. Their shield rotated as the nade was coming out. Unfortunate. Actually, I want to see what Ana's doing for this fight. I think this is before the nade is being placed. Yeah, definitely. Okay, we call for it to go. Nade lands now. That right there. Okay, here, instead of just nading, I think it's also fairly viable to actually just put pressure on this Pharah. Mainly because now D.Va's also dead. And like, as Ana, when we're doing this, like, that is one of your jobs apart from nading and healing, is to counter this Pharah. Or not counter, but like put pressure on the Pharah. But we have Aiden, so works out anyways. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to look at. Oh wait, why did I exit Hanamura? I just wanted to fast forward.
Traveling to Hanamura.
Okay.
Ready for battle. 4, 3, 2,
Bunker, perfect.
1. Attack
But this is not what I want to see. There's a specific instance. Ah, right here. We call for it to go in the corner. I actually have the recording. I want to see who called that, because I didn't like that. I didn't say anything during the match because I didn't think it was a bad idea. I was like, oh yeah, we can avoid hacks. But I realized that how much it stuffs us. Is this the recording of Hanamura? Kings.
Lucio.
Root.
Nice try.
Is that maybe at the end of this
Which,
one?
Lose.
Oh, it is.
We don't.
Ridiculous, dude.
Do anything at all.
No. She ran out of it.
I'm fooling people.
Nice.
Where's Messi?
Are we
Get
taking
out.
Never worried
What's on the other hand?
Yeah, he's crazy, dude. With me. Oh, I mean, Ock. Hold on the temple with me. I'm sorry. It's quad deeps.
I'm getting down.
It's actually triple deeps.
I'm trying to come closer. No, come back a bit so they
Okay, come back a
can
bit.
move us off.
So they can't poop us off. Okay. So I understand why you want to do that, but like, think about it this way, right? In order for Far to actually get an angle on that, because of pen. Okay. Because of how the shield is curved. Like that. Oh, Jesus, that's bad. Like this. It's such a gross drawing, but like, I think it's fairly hard for Farah to land a good concussion blast. And like, even if she does try to go for a concussion blast, we have Fortify in time. And as long as Orisa and Bastion are on the high ground, like, you're fairly decent. So yeah, like, this is, like, one fire rocket will get, like, what, a solid, like, 300 damage, 400 damage? Like, we charge that all too fast, which is what I don't like about this. I don't remember how we actually lose. I think we lose to a lot of ultimates. Okay, so we found their Pharah. Where is the team? Oh wait, no, we've already lost our actual bunker. And how does Aiden die? Oh yeah, to that Pharah spam. Yeah, like, sitting in that corner is just so dangerous. We get our guy back and we find their Sombra. He places a mines there, which forces the rotation, which allows Pharah to get a brush. And we also didn't have... Oh, we did have lamp. Okay. But still, I don't think that would have helped that much. Managed to find their Zen, and their Mercy goes for a really ballsy res. Doesn't get punished by the Hanzo, which she should have, but luckily we have a Roadhog to hook. And then that whole hog, I believe, finds... Yeah, he gets another one off of that. Nice. But then here they have their EMP, which is like their biggest win con. And we've swapped onto the Ashe, which I think is a good idea in theory. But I'm thinking if there's a better swap than Ashe, because like Ashe does counter this Pharah. And, you know, if you get hacked as Ashe, it's not nearly as big of a deal as, you know, say like being hacked as Bastion. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good switch. But it's still fairly rough to actually find the perfect hero here. EMP hits 5. And the only one he doesn't hit is like Hanzo, which is like who cares about Hanzo getting hit by EMP? We find that Sombra. We can Ham was totally killable there, I think. And they use Trance aggressively. Do they use it aggressively or to save the Pharah? It looks aggressive to me. Okay, and where was Frank when he died?
60 seconds remaining.
Okay. I think that might have been hookable, actually. Like, she did kind of translocate, like, into the middle of everything. Is that our dragons or their dragons? That's our dragons. Oh, so Dragons forces out Transcendence, and our Hog is trying to contest point, and of course he gets killed because there's way too much pressure. They're double support ulting right now. Okay, we invest double support ultimate because we found Pharah, and I think that's reasonable. Hanzo in the backline. I could have totally killed Zen, but I failed. And now that we've lost that, like, I think we trade Hanzos, but now, like, look at all these cooldowns that we're investing, and then now Hammond has landmines or proximity mines, and I got rezzed back into the mines. Yeah, they won off that mines. Like, I think the investing of the resources wasn't the problem. It's how we invested the resources and the timing of that. I think it was okay to use Valkyrie and Amp Matrix, but I don't know. We just couldn't find it. Our Hanzo was split off trying to do a flank. So. He got another trance, but again, like, he didn't really need to use that. Okay. All right. I mean, so, like, yes, there's plenty of footage to look over, which I'll probably do for more individuals, but in terms of, like, team play, that's really all I wanted to touch on. Like, in general, I didn't like how we played on Gibraltar. Hanamura was decent. Yeah, and that's about it. Alright. On to the next time.